Morning, everyone. And today we are going to do the Matlab. I'm going to introduce you the Matlab, a general introduction why students need to learn the Matlab. The present chapter is for the introduction to the Matlab. My name is Arun Gupta. I'm professor in Faculty of Chemical and Process Engineering Technology and teaching Matlab from past 8 years. So little bit about my background. So in this episode, we are going to cover introduction to about myself, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the Matlab, what is the script file, how you can do the simple programming, and all these general things. All right. So regarding myself, is I have done my graduation and masters from India. Then I moved to New Zealand for PhD. I have done my PhD in chemical and process engineering from University of Canterbury, New Zealand. And my topic was to develop the modeling and simulation of MDF hot press using Matlab software. So during my PhD, I have used Matlab for the modeling work. I have also done the 6 months course in University of Canterbury, where I have learned the basics one that later on I utilize it in my PhD project. Along with this, I have also done the 1 year postgraduate diploma in computer application, in which I have done the courses for the C++ and few other programming. So that one, I have used MATLAB in my PhD product, and in 2009, I joined University of Canterbury, and after 2 or 3 years, I have started the MATLAB or computer engineering, computer programming for engineers for the undergraduate student, in which I introduced MATLAB, and now from past 8 years teaching the chemical engineering students. So we have developed the course content so the engineers can learn general about the MATLAB plus how to use in the chemical engineering field. I have also published papers using the MATLAB, and we have developed two simulation software, MDF soft and WPC soft, which we are trying to commercialize. So a little bit background that from past 10-15 years I am involved and using MATLAB. Okay, so just like there are so many software programs, like there are fundamental languages like the C++, Fortran, Java, and then there are also the third generation languages like MATLAB, NewPad, and Maple. So these are specialized kind of software that can be used for the engineering purpose. So what are the advantages of MATLAB? A little bit background about MATLAB is what I came to know from the internet, that there were few researchers who were trying to develop a software to solve the matrix. So they have come out with a software to solve matrix, and they were using it. That's why the name is MATLAB, Matrix Laboratory. So the origin is from the solving the matrix. So later on, the Messwork company keep on developing the MATLAB software, and now it can be utilized a number of places. It is very good in developing the 2D and 3D graphics, and there are special tools to develop the things. Okay, there are advantages of MATLABs are like easy to use. So suppose when I teach for 6 months time, within this duration, students can get a grip on the MATLAB. They can develop the program. They can do the mini projects. So it is easy to use, and there are a number of tools that can be utilized, specialized tools that can be utilized to develop the program. Another feature that I like in MATLAB is for a debugging, because whenever you run the program, In the command window, it will tell where is your error, which line you have error in the program. So we can follow that line and then we can remove the error. It can be used in all the platforms and all the places. So predefined functions, like it is having the optimization tools and number of things that can be used in the Matlab. Another feature is once you have done the programming, then you can do the graphical user interface like a cover. You can develop a cover to your coding so that people cannot know what are the coding you have done, and then you can make it as like a user friendly. So the user can input their parameter and can run the button, and the program can give you the result. So later on, we can cover more of these things in the graphical user interface chapter. Okay, so it is considered as sometime it is slow, but I think for a general engineers where the time is not that a factor, so it is not making that much big difference in the processing time. All right. The how the MATLAB screen looks like. So here you can see an example of the screen. If you want to, you will see the top bar in which all the things are given, just like new script file, new, open, and you have to find the files, variables, Simulink, and layout. So let us start with the layout, that because when you will open the MATLAB, then there will be a different kind of layout. So you can set a like from the beginning default layout. Okay, so here is a default layout. Then if you want to close the programming, you can close the programming now. So a standard MATLAB screen will look like this one, that is having a command window, workspace, and current folder. In the current folder, you will see the whatever files you have opened into the current folder. So normally, if you are doing a simple programming or just starting something, then you can start with from the command window. So let's see. Okay, so you can type A equals to 40, B equals to 30, C equals A plus B. Okay, so suppose you just type A equals to 40, B is equal to 30, C is equal to A plus B, and 70. So simple calculations. And whatever things you will type in command window, it will come into the workspace. So here you can see the value of A, B, and C. If you double click the workspace, then you can see here that Excel like sheet will be opened, and you can see the value here A is equal to 40. And then if you double click B, then it will tell B is 30, C is some value. All right, so these are, because you cannot have if you are doing the programming in MATLAB, in command window, you can have a lot of variables and you cannot see all the values. So what you need to do is you need to go to the workspace to see all the values. If you want to close the workspace, you just click the close. So the first thing you need to learn in MATLAB is how to clean the command window. Once you have done some programming, you want to clear it. So just you can type CLC and then it's clear. CLC will clear the command window, but it will not clear the workspace. Workspace is like the memory of MATLAB, in which it remembers all the names. So suppose you want to see that it is still remember what is the value of A and B, then you can type C equals to A plus B, you can still get the answer, because once you have declared the variables, you can use again and again in MATLAB, and it can still remember. So if you want to clear the workspace, you need to write down CLEAR, clear. So now clear means everything in the workspace, as you can see, there's nothing inside it, and then it is clear. If you want to clean the command window, clear. Okay, now if you will write C is equal to A plus B, nothing will come because you have cleared the workspace and the variable name. So now MATLAB don't remember what is the value for A and B. So in MATLAB, most of the functions are same, like you can use A, 40, okay, most of the symbols in MATLAB is same like the normal standard one, plus, minus, star sign. Only the difference is whenever you want to do the multiplication, it will be the star sign. So if you want to do E equal to A multiplied by, okay, so you need to use, here you can see you need to use the star sign, asterisk sign to multiply. Now the problem with the command window is, if you are doing a bigger program, then once you cannot save the things into the command window. So once you have closed the MATLAB, everything will be gone. So to do the bigger programming, what we need to do is we need to use the script file. Earlier it was called as the M file, but in the new version it is called as the script file. So suppose we want to do CLC and CLEAR, clear. Now we will open the script file. So from the top bar, you can see there is one icon, script file. So you can open from here, or you can go to the new, and then you can open the script file. So script file will come like a blank editor untitled file. Here you can write down the program, whatever you want to do it, and then you can save it. So suppose we will start with a simple program, CLC, clear. Normally the standard practice is you write down CLC and clear in the top line. So it will clear the command window. It will also clear the workspace. So whatever programming you will do, you will see your answers. If you don't write these terms, then you will have all the mixed values in the command window, and you don't know what is the answer of your problem. So it is better to write down CLC and clear. Then another good practice is you can write down percentage sign. Percentage sign is to write comments in the program. Because if you are doing some programming and you are just writing the CLC clear A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then nobody will understand what you want to solve it. Whether it is you are trying to solve the heat transfer problem or mass transfer problem or something. So MATLAB have the option that you put the percentage sign and you can write down the comments in the program, which is not the part of the coding. So suppose you put the percentage sign. Once you will put the percentage sign, it will turn the green. So you can say today date is 27th. Yes. Okay, then you can write down the values. A equals to 30, B equals to 40, C, B, and D equals to A minus B. Once you have written the program, you need to save the file. So you can go to the top bar, written as a save. You can choose the save as. So normally for my students, I have a special folder, student exercise, CP exercise, and then I just save it, EXE. You can save with any name or a combination of alphabet and letters, but you need to remember that you cannot keep the space. It is just like our email ID, that if you keep the space, then it cannot be saved. It also the error. So you can have alphabet number or alphabet any combination of things, just like your email ID, but need to be without space. So you can see the save. All right. Now, once you have run this, you have saved the file, then you run the program. On the top bar, you can see the run button. You click the run button, and then one window will pop up. You can say add to the path, and then you can see the answer. So in command window, you will see the answer. A is 30, B is 40, C is 70, and D is minus. There are a few other things that you need to know, that if you want to suppress the value, you don't want, because if everything will come in the command window, then it was very difficult to see the answer. So you just want to see your answer, what is C and D. You don't want all the values of A and B. So you can put the semicolon. Semicolon is to suppress the value, so it will not come in the command window. And only the values which don't have semicolon will appear in the command window. So here you can see. So only C and D. If you want to suppress everything, then you just put the semicolon. Okay, so you can suppress everything. If you don't want to suppress, then just remove the semicolon, and you can see the value. So this one is a simple programming, and how you can write down the file into the script file. So this one is the part. Okay. Now, all right. So we will continue with the introduction part of the Matlab. Now, the another part which I want to focus is why learning of Matlab is so important. So let's see why the learning of Matlab is important. Okay, so from here you can see one screen in which it is given that, okay, why the Matlab is more important. So basically Matlab can be used for the modeling and simulation. So just in simple terms, modeling means whenever we represent something by mathematical equations, like a simple one is a kinetic energy, K is equal to half mv square. So if we want to measure the kinetic energy, we put the value of mass into velocity. It is a simple mathematical equation. Like the potential energy is mgh. So these are simple equations or kind of a mathematical model. But when we have to describe some big system, like in chemical engineering, how the chemical reaction is taking place, or for the heat and mass transfer that we have designed some equipment, and we want to know that how the heat is transferring from the tank to the chemicals and all these things. So it has got a big modeling part. So basically, all these software, or particularly Matlab, is used to develop the mathematical model and to solve it. So simulation means when we are running that mathematical code using some kind of a software, Matlab or C++ or anything, and then we can visualize it. So nowadays it is a very important area of modeling and simulation in the chemical engineering. We don't need to conduct a lot of experiment like in previous years, that You need to do several experiments, then you will get the data, then you will analyze it. Nowadays, even a small amount of experiment, you do it, then you take the values, develop a mathematical model, and from the model you can visualize the things. You can get a lot of, you can do a lot of analysis. So one of the main application of Matlab is in the modeling and simulations. For the engineering, a lot of people in chemical engineering and mechanical and other areas are using. Some of the example of modeling and simulation here you can see is in electrical engineering. They are simulating the images visual, so you can visualize how the things are inside, and then that will help developing the understanding, basic fundamental understanding of the. This one is biomedical engineering, in which the MRI scan data is used for visualizing things. And then the third one is an example for chemical engineering. Suppose we got one very big tank and is having some chemicals inside, chemicals A. You're trying to put another chemicals B. Then how this chemical is spreading around the around inside the tank. What is the process? So these how it will spread is based on some certain principles or some formula. So you can visualize inside the tank. If we see, we cannot see that how the chemicals are interacting, but we can visualize the whole system. We can see that how the mixing will take place. If we increase the tank size, then maybe the mixing is not proper, and then the product is not better. So these are some of the areas where mathematical models are used. Another area which I want the students, when they are trying to solve the problem, they don't need to start straight away on doing the coding. If you start away doing the coding, then it will take more time to find out the solution. So the base or the best thing is, first of all, you try to understand what is the problem, what are the parameters given, like what the value of the temperature, T, mass, whatever values are given. Then the flow, how you are going to design one step, second step, third step, and then the solution. So you need to have a clear picture what are the values which are given in the problem, and what are the equations, how you are going to solve step by step, and then the solution. It is always a good idea to test your solution by calculating that by using a calculator, because even if you've done all the things right and some of the values are not proper, you can get the answer, but maybe the answer is not correct. So you need to test separately with the calculator that, okay, your answer is correct. So if you don't have a clear understanding of the problem, it is going to take more time to understand, to get the solution. So be careful to include the units, what are the constant, how it is going to do the step by step. Algorithm is basically, I have seen quite a number of students when they do the programming, they suppose simple like kinetic energy, half mv square. If I say, okay, solve the problem, you are having the value of mass is this one, velocity is this one, and solve it. So they will put the equation first, then the value of m, v, and then try to get the answer. But MATLAB will not solve it, because what you have done is you have given the equation first, half is mv square. But MATLAB don't know what is m, what is v. It cannot read what are the things given at the bottom. MATLAB goes line on line. So it will see equation, then you don't know what is m and v. So when you do the program, you need to first declare what are the variables, mass, velocity, then you put the equation, then you will get the answer. So the flow need to be proper. Okay, it is because sometimes your program is checked by somebody else, so they need to understand. So it is always good, or it is a good programming practice that you do general comments, you write down the comments, what are the things given inside the program, so that the otherwise, if you are just giving A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then nobody can understand what you want to solve it. And always test the answers with the calculator, so you can double check whatever values are given is the correct one. Okay, so we will start the fourth part of our programming, which I want the students to understand about the built-in functions. So in Matlab, there are a lot of built-in functions. Same like in our calculator, we have like if you are using a scientific calculator, you have the sine, cos, tan. You can just put the values and you can use it. So same way, all these functions are also available in Matlab. There is a huge library the students can check and they can use. So these are the functions which are provided by the Matlab. So the students can directly use it. So these are called built-in functions. Another part which we will cover later on, it is called user-defined. User-defined functions are the user or the people who are using the computer can develop the function to solve their specific problem. So in this part, we will cover the built-in functions. Okay. So in built-in functions, we will cover in this chapter, these are the common, common mathematical functions like sine, cos, tan, log, these things are there, plus they are also the advanced features like the uniform and Gaussian theorems, statistical and all the standard deviation, everything is available. Okay, so we will cover some of the common examples which students can use, like square root, sine, cos, log. So first is the square root. You can open the Matlab file in the command window. You just type x value is 9 and then square root x. Then you can get the answer. So this one is the square root. In Matlab, not only these things you can try in command window. You can calculate the square root for a single number. You can also calculate the square root of a number of, suppose you can give several numbers in one bracket, 4, 9, 16, and you can ask the Matlab to calculate the square root. So it can calculate the square root. So you can just write down like this one and you can get the square root. Okay, another part is called nesting functions. Nesting functions is you can use two functions in one shot. So suppose you have written sine to the value, some value, you have declared some value, and then you have calculated the square root. So this is like two functions in one go you can calculate. Now another important part which I want to highlight is how to use the help function in Matlab. So because not everything you can understand, if you want to get some help, just you type in the command window help sqrt, and it will open number of files which you can click, and in Matlab it will tell, okay, what is the application of a square root, how you can use it. So if some of the functions which you are not clear, you can use the square root functions or the help functions. Okay. All right, then. Okay, so these are the mathematical. There's a list. Normally, in our institute, we recommend Holly Moore book, Computer Programming for Engineers, which is having the complete list. So all the students can see the list and they can utilize that all these functions when they are solving the Matlab. So you can see here sine, cos, tan, assign, all the values are given. There's a huge list. If you want to calculate maximum, minimum, mean, median, sum, then there's a whole list of the built-in functions that you can easily use. You just need to declare the value of x and then you can calculate the value. Okay. Now, for an example, you want to calculate some maximum value into this matrix, you can declare one matrix 153, and then you ask Matlab to calculate the maximum value. Then it will tell that okay, in this matrix, suppose for the first matrix the maximum value is 5. For the second matrix, which is having 2 rows, it will calculate the matrix for that particular column. So for the first column, the maximum is 2. For the second column, the maximum is 5. The third column maximum is 6. So you can get the maximum value. Another important command is sort. Okay. So suppose if you have some numbers 1, 6, 3, 9, 4, and you want to sort out, there is a built-in function sort. You can write down sort x, and then it will sort out all the numbers. It will sort out from the lower number to the higher value. By default in Matlab, you can sort out from the lower number to the higher number. But if you want from the higher to lower, then you need to write down sort x from descent. So it will sort from 9, 6, from the higher value to the lower value. You can also do it in the, you can give 2 column, and then Matlab will sort out all the numbers on the basis of column. So suppose you have given 2 column 1, 10, 3 this one, and then another column this one. You write down the value of the sort, and it will sort out both the columns. So I have shown you some of the examples for the for these built-in functions which user can use. It is available in the book, and there are a whole lot of functions that a user can do it. Okay. So basically in our Matlab for introduction is just introduction. What is Matlab? How you can do the simple programming? What are the built-in functions? So you can have some idea about the Matlab. In our second lecture, we will cover the specific areas like plotting, how you can do the plotting, different simple plotting, 2D plotting, using the subplot function, then the user-defined functions, and more logical. So then in each episode, you can learn a number of things about doing the computer program. Hopefully, you can understand whatever is explained. If you have any questions, you can send me through the comments, and then I will try to answer these questions. So thank you very much for the introductory part, and in our next videos we can cover more and more things.